For some, the night brings restful peace, while for others, it heralds a thrill of anticipation. As a college student, my family's home has always been a two-story haven. We used to freely roam between the floors, utilizing multiple rooms until a few years back when my father's business faced a downturn. Consequently, we installed a door on the first floor and started renting it out. Our neighborhood is bustling with companies, and though it's over a 10-minute walk to the nearest subway station, its convenient location makes it a desirable place to live. My family resides on the second floor, which houses 2 rooms, similar to the first floor, that's now leased to tenants, currently in its 3rd turnover. A newlywed couple from out of town chose our home for its cleanliness and proximity to the husband's workplace. At first, their life seemed sweet and loving until it wasn't. Loud arguments became frequent, with the husband often berating his wife. One night, as we were finishing dinner and watching Netflix, a clash erupted downstairs. The husband was accusing his wife of not answering her phone all day, to which she retorted she had been in meetings. My mother mentioned that the husband tends to vent his frustration on his wife after drinking. The wife, Serafina, is quite beautiful with a tall, slim figure and long, neatly tied hair. She teaches children after school and is quite the introvert, usually busy with work during the day and returning home in the evening to manage household tasks. Serafina is also an excellent cook, once sharing delicious, homemade cheese tortillas with us, reminiscent of what you'd find at a taco franchise. My mother admired her for being so diligent, and they shared meals together occasionally. However, Serafina's husband seemed distrustful, unable to comprehend that his wife couldn't answer the phone during her teaching or meetings. Their disputes escalated until Serafina sought refuge in our home. Serafina's uncle, who is also her father, went downstairs after hearing about an argument she had with her spouse. Downstairs, the man questioned Serafina about why she was wearing a short skirt at home, asking if she was seeing any of her teachers at school. Serafina explained that she had ordered the skirt online, thinking her husband, who had just come home from work, would like it. However, her husband doubted her, questioning if she had worn it to school since it was delivered that morning. He had been overly attentive since they started dating, which Serafina initially enjoyed. But this attention turned into suspicion and later disbelief, even when she told the truth. This suspicion has overshadowed their newlywed bliss, making Serafina doubt if they can continue living together and regretting their marriage. Her mother took her hand and suggested she spend the night at their house. Since I snore loudly, my parents decided to sleep in the living room, offering my room to Serafina. Despite knowing she's married, I can't help but have feelings for her. She's beautiful and kind, and no one I've met on blind dates compares. I've admired her for the gentle way she interacts with everyone, including the neighborhood kids. I wish I could spend personal time with her, but I know it's not right. Yet, today felt special because Serafina came to our house, and I was thrilled, almost to the point of shouting in joy. I wanted to confront her husband for his behavior, but it's not my place to interfere in their personal matters. Serafina confided her marital issues to my mother and cried. I wanted to comfort her, but felt helpless. My mother wanted to ensure she had a safe place to rest, comforting her until she calmed down. My mother asked me to clean my room so Serafina could sleep there. I prepared the bed for her, saying, "Don't worry about it. just try to get some rest, even though it might be hard to sleep. Since it was warm, I decided to sleep on the living room sofa, and Serafina felt guilty for taking my room. So I wandered into my room half asleep after a middle-of-the-night bathroom trip. By habit, I climbed into bed and fell asleep, only to be jolted awake in the morning by a loud, "Yikes! What is this?" To our surprise, it was just the two of us who heard that. Serafina was there beside me, and as it turned out, we had ended up sharing the bed. Honestly, nothing happened between us. Serafina left early that morning for her place, and all was quiet on her end. Things remained calm for a while after that day. Serafina teaches cooking classes. One day, with only a morning class, she was heading home with a bag of pancake mix from the grocery store. At the entrance to the alley, we bumped into each other, and seeing the grocery bag, Serafina chuckled. "Making pancakes?" I replied. "It's my first time trying. Got some syrup too," she suggested, making them together at her place since she had no classes that day. I asked if it was really okay, and she reassured me that things had been fine lately, inviting me in. She mixed the pancake batter with eggs and milk in a stainless bowl, then heated a wide pan, greased it, and poured the batter in. The batter sizzled softly, turning a lovely brown. Skilled with the spatula, she flipped them until warm pancakes were ready. Encouraged to try, I clumsily made my own pancakes. Aside from instant noodles, this was my first cooking attempt. We made several pancakes, topped them with whipped cream and syrup, and added kiwi and strawberries Serafina had prepared. She brewed coffee and brought it to the table, revealing it was her birthday and was pleased to celebrate with our pancake cake. Surprised, I suggested going out for a meal later. Later, with her phone volume up, we headed to a nearby wood-fired pizza place. Serafina seemed anxious, possibly worried about a call from her husband. I couldn't understand why he would doubt such a kind and good-hearted wife. Nearly done with our pizza, she received a text saying her husband had to leave for a sudden business trip and wouldn't call that night. Serafina's face lit up with relief. Serafina was feeling a bit upset that her husband didn't wish her on her birthday. However, she mentioned going out to eat with Thaddeus brought a fresh vibe, but since her husband is the suspicious type, she insisted on heading home early. We exchanged numbers quickly and rushed back. That day, as I climbed the stairs, I hoped for another chance to meet. A week later, on the same weekday as Serafina's birthday, I bumped into her at the local grocery store's tasting section, where she was with her mother-in-law. She mentioned her mother-in-law would be staying for about 3 more days before leaving. The next day, while I was skipping rope in the yard, Serafina's mother-in-law complained of severe stomach pain. Her husband was still at work, so I hailed a taxi and took Serafina and her mother-in-law to the hospital. A week later, I met Serafina again. Her mother-in-law had gallstones and had undergone surgery to remove her gallbladder, but was now recovering well at home. Serafina had been taking care of her, putting her kids' after-school activities on hold. She said, "If it weren't for you, that is, my mother-in-law would have been in big trouble. She's so grateful to you that she insisted on thanking you personally, and even gave you some money to treat us to a meal when she gets the chance." Seizing the moment, I quickly joined them for dinner. I enjoyed my favorite seafood spaghetti and had a beer. Serafina began to vent about regretting her marriage, but I had no similar experiences to share, so I just listened. After opening up, she felt relieved and mentioned, "My husband just left for a business trip to China yesterday. He'll be gone for a month. I'm free for a while. I couldn't miss this chance," and mentioned, "Coincidentally, my parents are away for their anniversary trip to Vietnam and will be back in 3 days." That night, in my room, Serafina and I created a special atmosphere. It was a new experience for me, and she smiled patiently at my awkwardness. The next day, we spent a lovely time at her place. A year has passed since then. Serafina says her husband's attitude hasn't changed, but she finds other reasons to be happy, viewing his suspicion as a form of affection. Sharing secrets with me has become a delightful part of her life. Our secret encounters feel thrillingly delicate,